I've had scouts ask me about you, and I mean, I've just watched you for 5 games, but what I tell them is, look, the first time I saw this guy, he had the bases loaded with nobody out in Vegas in his PCL debut, and Vegas is no picnic for a pitcher. And then it started to rain. So it was like the all-time worst situation you could be in your debut. Hello everyone, welcome to the Aces Loaded podcast. I'm Zack Bayrouty, and our player guest this week is Brandon Pfaadt, right-handed pitcher. How you doing, man?
Good, doing great.
You're looking good, man. Brandon joined the Aces on the last road trip, the long road trip for the series in Vegas. And I'm going to get into the Vegas outing in a moment, but you've impressed in your early time in the PCL, coming from Amarillo. What's this ride been like for you now? Five starts in, and you have an ERA that is 2, which in this league is pretty darn impressive.
You know, I don't try to look at numbers too much. I just like to go out there and do my thing and compete, whether that be at any level in the organization. Just do the same thing, go out there, give it my all.
We're going to get into like how you developed your love for baseball and all that, but I want to start in the present, sort of, with your first outing in the PCL, which I've had scouts ask me about you, and I mean, I've just watched you for 5 games, but what I tell them is, look, the first time I saw this guy, he had the bases loaded with nobody out in Vegas in his PCL debut, and Vegas is no picnic for a pitcher. And then it started to rain. So it was like the all-time worst situation you could be in your debut, and you're facing Matt Davidson, who we're very familiar with, obviously started the year here, and you get him to roll into a double play, 1 run scores, and when it looked like Vegas might put up a big number in that first inning, you hold him to a run. Aces go on to win that game 15-1. I was so impressed with your mound presence and your composure with all that swirling around you. What was going through your mind in that first inning?
You know, it's hard to disregard the rain, but I was out there. I was like, you got to be kidding me. But we got through it, and we got out of that first inning and kind of just started cruising and trusted the defense behind me and just pitched my game.
How did you manage to keep your composure, though? What was your mindset while the rain was coming down on you?
Just trusting my ability. I think that at the end of the day, that's all you can really do, no matter what the conditions are. So.
From Louisville, Kentucky, what was it like growing up in Louisville, and when did you get into baseball?
I got into baseball when I was 5 years old, T-ball, so I've pretty much been around baseball my whole life. Growing up in Louisville was great for it. You had a bunch of baseball in the area, so couldn't ask for much more.
When did you know you wanted to pitch?
Probably when I got to high school. I pitched a little bit when I was 9. Until high school, but high school really, I was like, I think this is the spot for me, for sure. And then going into college, went in as a 2-way, but after my freshman year, it was kind of pitching was the main.
When I was growing up, when I played Little League, I had the same wind-up as you because I saw Roger Clemens wind up that way, and I watched Roger Clemens growing up was like my baseball hero, and I wanted to just look like he did. I love the wind-up. When did you start that big wind-up? And I think it really is something that is a hallmark for you, just aesthetically.
I think right when I picked up the baseball when I was 9, right when I got on the mound, that was just, I think I saw somebody do it one time, I don't know who, probably Roger Clemens, and I was like, that's pretty cool. So I've been doing it ever since, haven't changed it. It just feels good to do it, and it's different, so why not?
Has anyone ever tried to get you off that? Because I know I've been around pitchers that have had that kind of wind-up, and they've gone through whatever ranks, college, pros, and they've run into coaches that maybe want them to use a slide step and to work exclusively out of the stretch. But did anyone try and get you off that wind-up?
No, I think they saw it was just what I did, just my routine, and felt comfortable with it, and it never affected any of my pitches. So I think I've never heard anybody try to get me off of it. It's just something I feel comfortable doing.
You attended Bellarmine, which now is Division I, but when you went there was Division II. Were you recruited by any D1 programs out of high school?
No, not really. Bellarmine was pretty much my only college to look forward to. I got to play with both my brothers, so that was pretty cool. That kind of influenced me to go there, and then just being in the Louisville area, being closer to home, I think it was kind of set in stone.
So you knew you wanted to go to Bellarmine when you were in high school?
I think it was more than likely. Obviously, if somebody else reached out, but it just happened. It's all worked out. So.
You are a fascinating story, and one of many from 2020, because that was one of the weirder drafts, maybe the most strange draft in baseball history. There's only 5 rounds, and before COVID shut everything down, I got to hear you were 3-1 with a 1.38 ERA in 5 starts with Bellarmine, and then the pandemic happens, season's over. What was your outlook like? Did you know that you were potentially going to get drafted, and had anybody communicated with you?
No, I didn't. I talked to a lot of teams before the draft, but it was never set in stone that I was gonna be picked. It was projected round 2 through 6, and obviously there wasn't a 6th round. So we sat there on the second day of draft, and then I got a phone call, and we just took the opportunity. So it was kind of a crazy day for the family, but it all worked out, and we were all happy at the end of the day.
We're here with Brandon Pfaadt on the Aces Loaded podcast. So, I mean, take us through being drafted. Like, what was it like being drafted, first of all, when you got that call?
It was awesome. Being from a small Division II school, all my other teammates were wishing they were in the same spot, so I just took it as that and tried to put my name on the map and put the school on the map. And now that they're Division I, they're getting that opportunity to get recognized, and I think hopefully I helped them with that.
Yeah, I think you're going to, for sure. Did you have a plan if you didn't get drafted in those 5 rounds? I mean, there are obviously a lot of guys that signed as non-drafted guys because there were only 5 rounds, but did you have a plan?
I was going to go back to school and finish up my degree, and it's a pretty good school, so I could have had a job somewhere else. If it didn't work out, it didn't work out. But I honestly don't know what would have happened the year after.
2021, you're in Visalia, and you put up some good numbers to start your pro career. 7 starts at 3.12 ERA. I spent 14 years in the Cal League. I know what that league can be like for pitchers. What was it like pitching in that league to get your feet wet? And how much did it help your confidence to know that you could put up those type of numbers in a real hitters league?
I think with that being my first really taste of professional baseball, it was awesome experience. Day by day, it was just a grind. Baseball's a grind, but it's a fun grind. So getting my feet wet in the Cal League definitely helped me when I got to Hillsboro, and then when I got to Amarillo, and now we're here. So step by step, we're just chipping away.
Did you have Reno in your sights to start this season? I know you started in Amarillo, but were you focusing on maybe getting up here before the end of the year?
Yeah, definitely. That was one of my goals that I set earlier in the year, was to get to Reno, and then set a couple other goals for myself, and hopefully we'll reach them by the end of the year.
What's life been like for you in the PCL, and how has facing PCL hitters been different than facing Texas League hitters?
It's been quite different. You got more experienced guys here. You still have all the prospects in AA, but I think the experience kind of outweighs your prospect rankings. It's just a higher step in professional baseball, so they're obviously going to be better hitters. Just taking my game and trusting it and going out there and competing at the end of the day is all I can do.
From up there in the booth, the observation I have about being a pitcher at this level is that it's really hard to find strike 3. In leagues like the Cal League and other leagues, you get ahead 0-2, and chances are you're going to come up with that K. But I feel like here strike 3 is a lot harder. You have hitters that have very advanced approaches. Is there a truth to that in your mind?
Yeah, definitely, especially with the automatic strike zone. I think it's a little smaller than it helps the hitters. It helps us in ways, but it helps the hitters too, being more patient and making the pitchers throw strikes. So I think that has something to do with it.
Have you always been a strikeout pitcher? You had 144 of them in 105 innings in Amarillo, which is damn impressive. But have you always been a strikeout pitcher? Do you consider yourself a strikeout pitcher?
No, I honestly try to go out there and just compete, get ahead. I think that's what's helped me the most with strikeouts, is just getting ahead, throwing strikes, and then leaving the zone with 2 strikes. So I think that's been the main goal this season going in, and it's worked out so far.
Are you on board with ABS? What are your thoughts on it?
I don't mind it. I mean, it's true, so you can't complain to the umpires. It gives them a little break. That's it. That's pretty much it. I mean, I don't like it or dislike it, so it is what it is.
Lastly, you came and joined this team at a time where they were surging. I mean, Stone was still here and everybody was buzzing about him, and there was that great moment where he got called up. But you joined this team in Vegas and they swept the Aviators, which was a high moment of the season. What's it been like to be in this clubhouse? I've been around a lot of clubhouses. I don't know if I've ever been around one that's been this tight. What's it been like for you?
It's been awesome. Obviously winning helps a lot. But there's a bunch of good guys here. We'll keep winning, keep being happy, and hopefully get that championship at the end of the season.
Brandon, thanks for your time, man. It's been great to get to know you and great to watch you, and look forward to watching more successful outings from you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's Brandon Pfaadt. We'll come back and have a beer with Doug Drabek next on the Aces Loaded podcast. We are back on the Aces Loaded podcast. It is my favorite segment and yours. It's a beer with Doug Drabek, brought to you by My Ride to Work and Ace Ball Ale. Oh, Dougie, making it rain Ace Balls over here.
I'll clean it up. Don't worry.
I know. I got you. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Let's toast to an Aces win today. We're recording this after taking 4-6 from Salt Lake, and a nice day for Dre Jameson.
No, it was. He had a good game plan today. He actually went over some film from the last game against them, the first game of the series, and he kind of stuck with what he did, but he knew location in the first game was not a bad problem, but he got hurt when he missed, and so that and using his changeup a little bit more today, and he basically challenged himself to have a good one.
Yeah, and that he did. Sorry, I interrupted the sip you're about to take of the Ace Ball. So yeah. So obviously the crux of this is we're having a beer with Doug, and he gets to tell a story or two. You might not know it, but back in the day they did not have charter flights for you guys. You guys flew. At what point did you guys start going charter? What do you remember around what year?
It was probably around I would say 1989, 90, somewhere in there. Yeah, but the first. The Yankees had one, but when I was with the Pirates, we didn't have charter flights. So, you just crowded on with people, and then after a few years, we finally started to go charter.
What was that like flying commercial? Like, would it be surreal for some people to just see the Pittsburgh Pirates walking onto a plane?
Well, I mean, you would. Basically people knew you and stuff, but you just had to remember to behave yourself.
Be honest, was it a pain in the ass?
Well, I mean, it's a pain only because you have to rush because there's, planes usually don't wait. So you have to rush out of the locker room and stuff, get everything done, and make sure you get on the bus to get to the plane. So that's probably the biggest part of it.
When you started with the charters, was it how much did it improve the overall experience for you guys, or did it not feel like much of anything had improved? I mean, obviously it improves, but you get what I'm saying. Did the performance get enhanced a little bit by the more luxurious accommodations?
I don't think so. I think you were just, obviously able to spread out and relax a little bit more. Maybe if you flew in that day, it might have helped some, but it was just one of those things, I think, just more comfort.
The last thing I want to talk to you about is the 1994 All-Star Game. I don't think I've talked about that with you and gotten the story, but where was it, and what do you remember about being part of that?
Well, it was in Pittsburgh, so I'd been out of Pittsburgh for 2 years, so wouldn't you know, the one I make is back in Pittsburgh, and going in, the club, he gave me my old locker back, which was nice. But probably, that and just being on that side of the in the clubhouse, a home clubhouse again. It was kind of special. Obviously, being able to play with the other guys in the league and stuff was special too. But I think being at a place where you were for 6 years and that you liked, that was nice.
Do you remember how the game played out?
Yeah, we actually, I don't know, did it go into extra innings or not, but we ended up winning either in the bottom of the ninth or in the extra innings.
And how did you do?
I kind of did okay.
I really don't know.
No, I gave up 1 or 2 runs, but there was a ground ball for a double play that was overthrown, so 1 or 2 guys ended up scoring. So I think I ended up getting 2 outs. So.
A couple of names from that All-Star game.
Well, I mean, you're looking at Bonds, but I'm just I was with the Astros at the time, and it was me, Jeff Bagwell, Craig Biggio, John Hudak, and Ken Caminetti, just from that one team. So that was kind of nice going, being the first one, but having that many guys from your team.
Cool, Doug. Thanks for the stories as always, man, and cheers. And I'm happy for your pitching staff. They're crushing it right now. Thanks, Dougie.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's a beer with Doug Drabek, and we'll see you next time on the Aces Loaded podcast.